So, what is going on, guys? This is Ryan here.
And this is Other Ryan here.
And today we actually have some really exciting news for you guys, and that is Five Nights at Freddy's is getting a film.
How crazy is that?
That's absolutely insane. I mean,
yeah.
The series has been so popular for so long, and, you know, a couple of these series come about like the Slender Man and things like that. I never thought this would actually be a movie. I always wanted it to be one, and it's actually happening.
Yeah, I know, it's absolutely crazy.
It's absolutely awesome. So, guys, we're going to be speculating, of course, in this video. So, if we get things wrong or if we get things right, you heard it here first. But hey, this is all speculation, so don't take our word for it. So, we're first off going to be talking about the film in general. So, the first thing to pick up on is actually who's got the rights to the film. Now, it seems like Warner Bros. Has actually purchased the rights of Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, there's a couple of things that this can actually mean. It can actually mean that Warner Bros. Has actually taken the whole series away from Scott, and now they've bought the franchise and they can do whatever the hell they want with it, which I really hope isn't the case.
Well, I hope it doesn't mean that because with a previous film, The Wolf of Wall Street, many people know, they actually bidded to buy the film rights to film it, if you know what I mean. So hopefully it means that, if you know what I mean.
Fingers crossed, yeah. I mean, there's many different forms as well as, you know, owning the rights. They could just own the rights to, for example, make films on it. Maybe they can't make games, you know, like Star Wars, the big thing with that when the guy bought the rights to the toy figures and he ended up being a billionaire from it. That was quite funny. He picked them up for cheap. But yeah, there can be like kind of a joint right ownership, and I really hope it is. And you know what, I believe that Scott is doing that rather than selling the rights all to Warner Bros. Because this kind of franchise is his, isn't it? It represents him and his success.
Only he can come up with a story as good as this as well, really.
Exactly, yeah. And I suppose that kind of leads on to our next point. Now, it currently says that the film is in the pre-production stage, and we know this because it's currently out to writers. Now, this actually made me think, is this an entirely new story being written, or is one of the previous diners being adapted into more of a kind of filmic scenario?
Yeah, there are a lot of unanswered questions within the storyline still, like the Bite of 87 and stuff, and I think a film could really close the doors on all the questions that we need answers to.
Yeah, because there is an awful lot of backstory we still need to know. I think we say that in almost every other video because it's true. There's so much we need to know, isn't there?
Definitely, yes.
I mean, whilst we're actually cracking the code a little bit here, there's so much more to go through. And I think, like, for example, the missing children, Golden Freddy, who is the purple guy? Why did he kill? We don't know any of these true questions, do we? It's all speculative.
No, we don't know.
So I think, finally having a film made on this, it will actually hopefully close the answer to it. But we don't even know if the film's going to be made on this, do we? I mean, the way Five Nights at Freddy's 3 ends, for example, there's so much that can happen after, isn't there?
Well, that's what I mean, like, where would the film take place? Like, obviously there's going to be a lot of new people introduced to the Five Nights at Freddy's series. Like, people will be like, oh, what's this? They'll go see it, not knowing even what it is, really. So,
which I think is kind of awesome in a way, isn't it?
Hopefully they will do like I hope it's like a psychological thriller where it's like a Saw kind of storyline where it's like, where it all builds up, and then right at the very end it's like, wow, it just hits you with a bombshell. And I don't know where it will be based, but either way I think it will be brilliant.
Yeah, well, of course it's going to be. I mean, the franchise being made into a film, it's like the ultimate, isn't it? It's what everyone dreamed of. It was such a good game. It was such a basic game, and it's, as the article says, it was such a new take on the horror kind of genre. Yeah. It opens so many doors, and God, this film can go either way. But as we were saying about Five Nights at Freddy's 3, the ending is just kind of, it's so open, especially after night 6, should I say, where we can see that the establishment has apparently burned down. Now, in this image, we see a small toy Freddy, and it's definitely Springtrap behind him, with his eyes wide open. So this could mean he is most certainly alive, and if he is, as I said, he's still alive, of course, and God, he can be wreaking havoc on absolutely everything. And you know what, actually, thinking about it, even if this film's based in Five Nights at Freddy's 1 and 2, it could answer like Shadow Bonnie. That might actually close the door even, and we might actually find out if Springtrap was in the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 establishment in the 2.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be so great. We're going to find out so much, aren't we?
Because obviously we're not just restricted to an office in the film. Obviously, this night guard is going to be going around exploring like what's happening, and I reckon as the nights progress, loads of things, hallucinations are going to start kicking in. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be great. I think another thing which is important to remember, going back to the whole writers scenario, the thing is, not every single game can instantly be adapted into a brilliant film, can it? Sometimes the story needs to be altered a little bit, so by it being sent out to these story writers, there's going to be multiple stories and they're going to select the best one, which is really reassuring that they're not just going into this head first. They're not just going to kind of, you know, use all the game's ideas. They're going to tie off some bits, and there's going to be a lot more tension-based building, isn't there? And we're going to see the whole establishment rather than just being confined, as you say, to an office. I mean, we could always see the other rooms, couldn't we? Like through the cameras and stuff, but yeah, we can never see truly into them. We only got the perspective if we were given. We couldn't move around. We couldn't make our own choices. I suppose, actually, that statement's true. We could not make our own choices. We could only look through, and what was there is all we could have.
Pretty much, yeah. But with your point about the writers coming onto here, obviously, you know, many people will think maybe they'll ruin it by bringing in new writers, but I think Scott is actually being involved into this film project as well. So a professional script writer, along with Scott Cawthon, that is going to be one hell of a flipping film.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it says partway through the article, someone named Graham Smith, he says, we're looking forward to working with Scott to make an insane, terrifying, and weirdly adorable movie. Yeah, hopefully by that might even be a scriptwriter for all we know, or at least one of, and he could be, as we say, working on the story closely with Scott, making sure that all of the script is to his liking, which will be absolutely fantastic. And you know what? An actual really interesting pointer here is where it says a weirdly adorable movie. If that's the case, we're not going to see these animatronics' dark side. We're actually going to see their good sides too. So, wow, I mean, this could actually be a direct hint towards maybe we'll see what happens with the children. Maybe when we see one of the children get maybe massacred or something.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah, we're going to see the establishment in the daytime, so we're not going to be restricted to just after hours.
I can just see how it's going to go now, like the title sequence of showing like the inside, like slow motion kids playing with the animatronics, and then all of a sudden just Freddy looks at the camera with red menacing eyes, and Five Nights at Freddy's.
I think the one question I always wanted answered is, you know, in Five Nights at Freddy's when we see Freddy performing with the microphone, don't we?
Yeah.
He's clearly got a voice box, yet he still chooses to use the music box very often when he's attacking you, or when he's in the establishment elsewhere. So I really want to see which one they choose to use, or if they choose to use both. Yeah. Because I think that would be interesting. I mean, if he's using the music box, we might find out what it truly represents, because he's a new model. And, you know, the other animatronics don't make these sounds. They all talk and stuff. So, yeah, why has he got this music box? We need to know. So, yeah, I think most importantly as well, it's, you know, which restaurant is this going to be based in? I mean, all this speculative kind of points from us, it could all link back to, you know, which restaurant is it even going to be in?
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot to choose from. You got the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 one. There's one that we haven't even played in yet.
Yes, exactly.
And you got the Five Nights at Freddy's 3 one. So, I don't know. I reckon it'll based mainly on the first game, you know, how we was all introduced to the franchise. I reckon it'll just be based in the first one, really.
Yeah, I actually have something interesting to pick up on with this point. I'm actually going to raise this now. Okay, so in the image on the actual website where this article was reported, it appears to be an image from the first Five Nights at Freddy's game, of course, showing Freddy looking into what appears to be the camera, with two endoskeletons behind him. Now, what I actually find really interesting with this is that underneath it says, courtesy of Scott Cawthon. So this could mean that Scott chose to give them this particular image. Now, if we actually go on Scott Cawthon's website, all we can see is a Freddy Fazbear hat, which seems to be placed in a spotlight. Now, I think the flooring looks very similar to the Five Nights at Freddy's one establishment, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
So this could be actually a direct hint. After all that, he could be coming back. The hat could represent that the show is never over. And wow, this could actually represent a full new turning with this. And this is going to be great.
No, see, I was just thinking, we'd done a previous video, we named it New Beginnings. It was when the image of the teaser image of the Freddy hat first was on Scott Games, and we said that, you know, what if this is the start of something else? And I think we're correct in saying Five Nights at Freddy's the movie, that is the start of something else, really.
I think this is really a representation of New Beginnings. It could be like, as you say, Freddy's on to better things, Freddy's left, and it's like, wow, here he is, he's back. And he's going to be in a goddamn film, so
it's going to be so awesome.
It's just amazing. So, well, there is so much more to actually speculate on, but I think now that we know this film's going to come out, we're going to actually get some great videos out for you guys. So, we're actually going to call it there. Hopefully you did really enjoy this discussion. This was actually a great one, wasn't it?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, it's really fresh news, and it's actually going to make us think twice about that hat's image on scottgames.com. So yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, be sure to like the video. And hey, if you're new around here, why not subscribe for more theories, discussions like this, and also gaming videos. So yeah, right guys, and actually also be sure to comment your own opinions down below, because we'd love to hear it on this one, because, well, I'm sure we've only looked at one aspect of this. We need to look at a lot more.
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay, guys, thank you very much for watching, and we'll, of course, see you on the next video.
Goodbye, guys.
Want to see even more content from us?
Consider liking and subscribing to ensure you'll see all content in the foreseeable future.
And hey, why not check out our past 2 videos?